we actually get into the thing that everybody wants to know, right? The maps that we're actually going to be playing. So Encore pick Nuke. I mean, that's kind of expected. We've seen them play that in the quarterfinals already. Yeah. We've seen them tackle against the Eliminators, which went the distance, mind you. So it's an interesting pick to come out from them. But you flip it on over, Mac, and you get Grayhound picking Ancient. I think that's pretty spicy as well. They had some good reps on that overseas, you know, when they were over there against 00 Nation and such. But it does look like already, you know, we've got some things happening.
Yeah, mate, we're halfway through. Having a quick look here. Looks like Grayhound with that numbers advantage are just going to be playing real slow, happy just to hold their ground. And Encore looking like they are just going to be trying to target the ace.
Yeah, absolutely. Licky and Sterling already losing their lives. Leah's down for the CTs too. And as you mentioned, targeting the A site at the moment. Greyhound, you know, they're kind of sitting, waiting, seeing what's going to happen. Encore, though, they're going to shimmy on down to B.
Off the rotation. Go here at the ready. Going to be able to drop that bomb on the ground. Savage in between a rock and a hard place. And Hat's now going to be left all on his own. There's a bit of noise there over towards control. Dude, trying to find anyone here. But 1v4 angle already chipped up. And they're pushing him from every single direction. Things are not going right there for Encore. But Greyhound off to a W at the start of the game here.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing to mention, as it does pop up on the screen as well, Inferno Mac is going to be that last sider if we do need it here. As you mentioned earlier, it is a 2 best-of-3 day for us on the broadcast too. So we'll be covering the winners of this game and the winners of a Vertex and Rooster, which is currently on one of the other ESL channels. So it'll be spicy to keep up with that win time and time again through this tourney. But of course as well, you know, one thing that I kind of want to highlight is these pistols are going to be present for Encore is they're kind of rotating 5th player at the moment, right? They haven't got APOC playing. They've been seeing who they're trying to fit into that spot. And currently today, we've got Versa.
See what Versa's going to be able to do at the moment. Encore can't really do too much of anything. As you can see, the A1S is at range here, as well as the Famous just going to be going for the old, what can I say it? The full house.
You can say it. You absolutely can say it. So, you know, one of those things, Mac, where we've seen it being brought up because of CS2. Everything at the moment, I guess, if those people out there that want that little reference, when you get kills in CS2 now, the HUD has some playing cards come up. I've always been a fan of playing cards in video games, actually. You know, we talk about the other shooty bang bang. I like Chamber, where he's dynamic, like the style, maybe not the character itself, but Full House. Yeah, we can roll with that on the eco.
Yeah,
sure.
Roll with that as well. Also, you know, we're back for a second, but we will be getting back into game, as you can see here. So, Grayhound, what do we got going on here? Double ramp set up, everything going a little bit slower to kick things off.
AK's round for Encore. A little bit of utility. You do definitely like to see that on the T side, and they're testing waters at the moment. Putting some feelers out, seeing what Greyhound are going to be doing, if they're lurking about. Already got that door blown off. Nothing really going to be provided to Hats too hard at the moment. But Liaz is just elevated on the hut, waiting. Could be quite spicy if he's able to find something with the Famous. A minute to go for Encore to try and break in somewhere. And they're going to throw a bit of these smokes in outers as well. Licky to take first contact at the moment. But there's really no one here besides aliStair, who is playing on top of the blocks. Is he going to jump up on top of Garage, though? It would be pretty interesting and vulnerable if he did. It's 40 seconds, Mac.
Ooh. That's mate. Just trying to go for the spam there. Can't quite find anyone. And Ali, of course, could barely see anything through the smoke, but he's found the head of Licky. Just looking to lock it down from Mini here, but keeps on putting that pressure over towards door side. Sterling with that molly at the ready. I think that's going to be flashing out behind a default, so Vexite might be forced into the open if Encore commit to this A hit, and it looks like they may just be. Comes push through the door, Hut player shooting to take contact, draw all that attention, and allowing the damage from the back there. Big play, great setup, and well orchestrated from Greyhound.
Yeah, of course, aliStair getting a 2-for-1 at the squeaky door too, so you're going to be happy with how that one does come up. But all in all, that was the first gun round that Encore are going to be providing us, and it doesn't really go their way. So as best of a start as you want for your CTs. Grayhound, again, map number 1 in Nuke.
Yeah.
It's not Grayhound's map pick here. I don't think it really matters too hard when it comes to the veto, though, honestly. I think Ancient is probably the map that Encore would have been expecting to be brought out from the likes of Grayhound, who, as I mentioned, have a good track history internationally, and for Encore themselves, locally, you know, they've played it once in relevant time. And that was actually against the Eliminators in their game yesterday, where they won pretty comfortably too. So should be a pretty good, you know, first 2-map opener. And if we do need it, it would be that Inferno that Encore managed to close out the series with to get into this game today.
Let's see if Versa can find a line here. You have Sicko real deep there with an AK in hand, but he's happy just to lob that smoke. Take a picture of it. Every time I see these smokes, I'm just like, they're gonna be gone soon. I get a little emotional about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? When you're updating the full game instead of parking it and releasing a new one. But for right now, it is just these pistols for Encore. They're just gallivanting around again, seeing if they can get anything nice and early, which they have. Vexite is down. It would be brilliant if they can find Sicko. And in a trade, that's not actually that bad. Keeping things relatively honest against Grayhound in this round. 30 seconds to go for Encore to see what more damage they can do it if they can get a bomb plant.
Oh, Hats. Really damn close to taking contact. Might have just won the battle of timing. You're looking on the map there. Ali fully focused over towards A site, spins around and won't be ready for Hats here. So execution style, dig to the back of the head. Hats with an AWP in hand. He drops down on him. What is he doing?
Well,
I don't know
then.
where he thought Inns was, but that was he was going for the highlight clip there, Dion. Well.
Yeah, I don't know where to put my finger on that. Was he trying out for FaZe Clan in Oceania right now? You change one letter, potentially so, but that feels like a bit of a blunder for Encore, all things considered, Mac. Yeah, they get a buy coming into this next round, but Inns has gotten away with a little bit of damage to be able to at least give a breath of fresh air for Grayhound in the previous. This is where we actually start to get into the meat and potatoes of the game, isn't it? We start to get the gun rounds. We start to see what Encore is going to be able to deliver on the T side. Is it just going to be them again trying to maximize their utility, which they've got a lot more of this time, to spread around the map? If they want to get those smokes back in towards outers, it's something that Encore, you know, seemingly like to do time and time again, play with their opponents with the different renditions of your L smokes and your cross smokes as well over at red to secret. But we will wait and actually see what the plan of action is for the Encore squad at the moment. Trying to force aliStair off his line. And for Grayhound, no one else really needs to move from their positions at the moment, right? Bit of spray onto Licky, but that's about it.
Savage making his way with the rest of the troops in through the yard, looking to go for the full wrap towards heaven here. Sicko, as you can see, waiting with open arms, and actually just gets off the line at almost the worst of the time. Licky on it, but the dry peak Sicko has just taken Licky's head straight off his shoulders, but hasn't quite been expecting the other two members also contacting the whole way through, so it should be a trade onto the flank of Sicko here at any moment. Man's got his shoulder up against the box, I'd say. The Savage is going to look to make it into A instead. Inns locking it down from Mustang. He was spotted as well by the door player. And it's Hats who's trying to trade. Will find the first, but Ali with the AWP hits the no-scope at very short range. And that's going to be a clean one. Grayhound 5-0 at the moment.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start again. You know, it's kind of what you want from them. Pretty well measured. They're not needing to go outside of the regular narrative in Nuke at the moment, playing the CT side that they need to. I think one of the biggest things that we see from Encore is used to be their adaptability from APOC when he was on the calls, right? From what he was able to actually do and maneuver his team around the map, from the bolstering that Hazard was able to do as well, you know, wherever you put him specifically. So I think a couple of these changes right now where you've got then, you know, Licky coming back into the fold, you've got Versa substituting into it, and you've got, you know, a different IGL stepping into the moment for Encore, I think, you know, the teams that they've played so far, they can kind of get away with it a little bit more than a team like Grayhound, which, you know, has been overseas again for a little bit relevant history. We haven't needed to see too much from them because they've been invited to a couple of these tournaments lately. So they've been kind of, you know, putting in some practice, keeping their fingers nice and touchy on the mouse, making sure that they're just ready to go in towards these games. And I mean, so far it's pretty good. Again, it is going to be an opener for Encore, however, as they do attempt to get down to the lower ramp.
Whoa. I didn't see it coming. Versa didn't see it coming, but Inns knew exactly what the plan was there. We are going to see that bomb hitting the ground. But man advantage now for Grayhound, who are just going to throw that smoke over towards Mega. Play 2 on the lower side, 2 on the upper side, and looking like from these positions, they're probably happy to play retake. Vexite, I think he might be tucked in at CT Vent, actually.
Yeah. Good assistance from Inns for him to
Banger.
poke on out. Beautiful flashbang, but again, the trade's there.
There's Inns dropping down for yet another refrag. Savage 1v3 angle. Can't find the first. Crosshair almost placed perfectly, but Inns really feeling it right now.
Yeah, it's pretty good coming out from him as well. He was a little bit silent before that round, but he was able to welcome Encore, open up his arms as they fall in from the heavens. But now he's kind of meeting aliStair's scoreline with 9 frags apiece as well. I think one of the big things right now, Mac, is for Encore to get around, and it has to be kind of this one. They need to start to tickle the economy more so of Grayhound. It's still within that reset ability phase. You got Ali nearing 7, you've got Inns nearing 5, and apart from that, everyone else is, you know, below 2. So if Encore are able to pull away this round and the next, that's essentially going to be resetting Grayhound. It's the start that we need to see from Encore to get some rounds on their T side, because if it does keep going like this, it's gonna be a pretty quick map, all things considered.
Well, Hatsy looking for an entry here. Sicko locking down the halls, and Sterling as well answering back. Getting that AWP kill online to double up his kills there. Better late than never. And that's going to be full site control for the moment. Grayhound in an odd position to set up for this retake. You can see Ali slowly getting this lobby control back, and he should meet Hats in just a moment. But Hats, he's looked away at just the wrong time. Ali connects. Now on the 4v3 Sterling. Lock down Mini, but they're looking the wrong direction, and that's going to be a clean damn retake. 4 alive at the end of it for Grayhound, and yet to drop around 7 a zip.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Encore are getting a little bit pressured before they can even look to get into a retake or look to find positions that they would think as a strong point as well, a vantage point. A lot of utility used early on, not too much to be able to back things up on the side itself. You know, we need to see them get a clean opener like they've been doing with these pistols and kind of slow it down, reset together before going in for an explosion. Make sure there's a bit of a contingency plan with this utility because, you know, they're showing to us here that they can get into the site, right, in that instance, but they're not able to hold it after the fact. So without being able to reset Grayhound within the next round or two, it just becomes more of a problematic factor. Yeah, you've got a buy coming in towards this round right now, but no one individually on Encore is really winning any duels either. You got Savage sitting on 3 kills, the rest of the squad on 2. You know, you talk about an effort by committee when it comes to Counter-Strike. We need to start to see that effort first individually. Well, so far for Encore, Mac, it's not really going that well. Inns is kind of fragging around, and aliStair is doing what he needs to do too. Now it's just on towards Hats in a 1 versus 5. Might be wiser for him with no util to even just save this weapon for 40 seconds. Because any frags he finds is just not going to play any damage to Greyhound's economy.
Yeah. Well, there's Ali closing out the round. And look, Greyhound's economy, you mentioned it, but there is absolutely no problems with it. Everyone getting real damn close to 5 figures if they can keep clean rounds coming through just like this. But there you go. Quick tactical going to be coming through from the side of Encore. So they're just going to have a quick chit chat on what to do. You know, losing, what was that, 7 in a row? That's always a good time to just have a bit of a chill out.
8-8, so the half is already getting away from them. Anything that they get here from here on out is just going to soften the blow for them when they do switch over to that CT side. So again, you know, I'm kind of feeling, looking at Encore over the course of this week so far, looking what they're able to do in those open qualifiers in their final matches. You know, there was a lot more cohesion when they were on the CT side of Inferno. They put up a brick wall last night on that. Their Ancient was looking pretty damn good in the very beginning as well. Nuke was very back and forth. So I'm kind of wondering, you know, is it just the fact that you've got Greyhound against you and they're just individually sharper, better structured as a team on this CT side right now compared to the likes of Eliminators, who, you know, are still kind of relatively fresh together, who are, you know, trying to do some damage nice and done in the map? I don't know what kind of case it is, because just, again, individually, and I want to harp on this for Encore, no one's hitting their shots at the moment from Encore. Everyone on Greyhound is just faster, like, and immensely so.
Let's see what Sicko's going to be able to do from ramp here. Members, on the short side. He missed by that AWP shot. Ins, though, looking to go for the cleanup, but it's not going to come through in time. Sicko at the back of ramp, teaming up with Ali. The double AWP crossfire at ramp is just way too strong. And he knows there's one more member somewhere, but that was deep over towards Trophy. And Savage as well. Just going to try to find anything. Any kind of aggression coming through there. You can see that Liaz is all the way towards the back of the door. And Leaky between a rock and a hard place as well.
Yeah, again, it's just one of these rounds where you're not really cooking with anything over on the side of Encore. It's a nice shot, though, on towards Sicko. Again, these pistols have seemingly done more damage from Encore's side of things than the rifles have. 3 kills in this round. We saw another pistol round where they just got it down on towards Ins. So there's an essence, right, that Encore still know what they're doing with the lesser weaponry. But I need to see it with the better guns. We all need to see it with the better guns at the moment. Finally, Sterling's going to get an AWP in his hand. See if he can make something of it.
Yeah. Well, he got a single kill with it before, which is not quite good for the value you're investing. Of course, it is T-side. It's hard to find these rounds, especially up against the caliber of Greyhound, who's been playing insane lately. Hats able to make his way straight through the vent drop, forcing aliStair to go for that rotation and allowing Sicko to be solo over towards a ramp again. So he's got a job ahead of him.
Well, that is a good opener, isn't it? aliStair's down, the B site ready for Encore to waltz in towards, although there is going to be a bit of a bolstering up at the mega ramp by Greyhound as well. So we'll see, just as the dust starts to settle a little bit, if anyone from Greyhound actually overheats, because that's probably going to be one of the best ins for Encore, for any of the Greyhound members to make a mistake and then capitalize upon it. And I think by timing, Sicko has just managed to sneak on past these windows, and I don't think Hats is going to spot him at the moment, so that could be utilized a little bit later.
Oof. Is that going to be the difference maker? Licky looking to go for that late lurk down the vent, but you can see Encore all grouped up here at Mega. Ian's going to go for the swing, but Sterling able to strike for 2. And now it's all down to Liaz. They knew exactly where he was before. And a 1v3 angle, you're looking at the money.
Yeah.
He's probably going for this every day of the week, but it might just be exit frags that he's after to keep the Encore economy at bay.
Well, one of the things that's going for him at the moment, and you might not know about this, is that there's a double AWP setup for Encore on the B side of Nuke. It's probably not the most potent setup that you do want to have when it gets into the close proximity battles, but the caveat for that being that Liaz actually needs to get up close and personal with Encore here. Half of the bomb's already ticked away, and I think it's exactly as you say. It's looking for any damage from here on out, because, again, we're still playing with pennies on the side of Encore.
Well, they're all going to be able to survive there in control room. Liaz pretty aware of that being the case, and is going to try to run for it at the last couple of moments as well. Knife out right next to the bomb. Finds it with a knife in hand. And he is going to fall. Sterling, fortunately, had his gun at the ready to shoot back.
Well, it's a round on the board for Encore. It's something that we've been waiting for. It's something that we've been holding our breaths for at the moment, I almost feel, from the positions that we've seen Encore in time and time again in this map so far. You know, it's not the be-all and end-all, and it's the time for Encore to just get back into this game, right? They need to string together a couple of rounds before we get a good sense of confidence that they're going to be able to achieve that, as Grayhound are just knocking on double digits already with, you know, 5 all rounds played in this half. You got light utility for Encore. A single smoke now remains on Versa, who's playing with the Galil. Ins is already waiting and hearing everything in outers behind these smokes. So he's in a good position. He is by himself, however. If he finds 2 frags, could spell a bit of an upset.
Slow approach. There's that molly over towards double door side. Ali makes contact with Liaz on the swing, but Liaz has gone in first, and it's cost him his life. Licky very aware of what the CTs were setting up down in the halls here. And now things could get that little more difficult.
Yeah, similar situation. Opening kill for Encore, but can they capitalize upon it? Ins, it would have been amazing if he could find 2, but with aliStair equalizing the equation, and they're 40 seconds to go, things do get a little bit more difficult for Encore, who haven't gotten positioned into any of these sites just yet. Bit of a crunch available on towards A, however. It's Hat still elevated himself, you know, kind of outside T lobby at the moment. Ali finds Sterling, finds another on towards Savage, and that Mac is the round. Or is it?
Yeah, you think so. Pat's good clearance. He knew exactly where Vexite was, but that being said, Vexite, very sharp individual, going to be farming up. His second kill, hasn't had to do too much. You're looking at Ali, and this is like classic Grayhound, right? When you look at Grayhound on paper, this is what you expect. Liaz popping off, Ins popping off, Ali not missing a damn shot. He is feeling it after getting his hands on Source 2, maybe some kind of reinvigoration from the Grayhound members.
Source 2 buff. Back onto all the old sticks of the Source 1, or, you know, just the original Source. It's good to see that he's not lost in the Source, though, like a lot of us may very well be at the moment. Pistols again for Encore. No utility to back them up. Things are really starting to peel away from them at the moment. Back to just resting on your laurels if you are Grayhound as well. You don't need to dive too deep in towards your strat book. Just individually better at the moment. You know, no one could really argue against that. And I guess this is safe for Vexite, right? Only 2 kills. He hasn't really needed to do too much at the moment. He can kick up his feet. Wait for his team to just kind of pick him up on this map. Maybe activate from the next one if he's needed to. It's up to the A side at the moment. And as I mentioned his name, he's able to get some damage.
Well, in comes all the util. You can see Encore just licking their wounds. Look at their mitts on the M4, but won't get a chance to shoot it. Ali just putting more to the tally. Savage going to be able to finally get a trade, but on 17 points of health. This 1v3 is almost insurmountable. And is just waiting for any of these CT members to put a foot wrong. Just going to be tucked away on that side of the door, but it's Vexite with an AWP in hand, able to pick up another. So 11-1, that's a 10-round lead.
Yeah, they're looking pretty pivotal at the moment to just be able to close this one down. And I think if you do look to transition in towards the next half as well as you are Greyhounds, you know, it doesn't need to really be too many rounds that they're going to be gathering. Kind of want to give benefit to Encore, though, that they do have guns in their hands, again, with all of that utility. But are we actually going to see something different, right? An opening kill, no response, or do we see the same structure in towards outers? Because if they do look to do that, it's a change-up from Grayhound. It's already realizing the tendencies of Encore. And just look at that. Not even expecting Insta already be pushed up.
Ins loves a little bit of outers aggression. Not going to be punished straight away. Sicko, however, has lost his life. So things are a little awkward for these ramp members. They are just going to try to give it a crack back, but Ins falling. Liaz swinging out into 2. That's never going to go well. And the numbers favoring Encore barely. Savage, living on 3 points of health as they start to push in through the smoke.
Ooh.
A dangerous approach, but it's worked out.
Yeah, he's caught aliStair completely off guard. Another very interesting round to come out from Encore. Looks a little bit topsy-turvy, but at the end of the day, they're able to put themselves in a 3 versus 1 against Vexite. Full HP, equipped with a couple of bits of util, but Hats on a line expecting him. It's going to be 2 rounds on the board now for Encore.
I don't know if it's happening today, but I did see that Savage was calling yesterday.
He's IGLing today, yeah.
Yeah, without
He
the
is.
without APOC not being here. So, of course, it could just be, you know, a couple of birthing wounds. Of course, you know, Savage still kind of picking up the range, trying to lead in the right manner. But of course, it's a different ball game when you're up against Grayhound, right? They're gonna make different adaptations at different speeds at different points in the game, and even with a whole bunch of prep, it still doesn't prepare you for what they're going to throw at you.
It's kind of interesting that it's not Licky calling as well, because he's had a bit of a, you know, a seasoned approach to the game where he's been on that department for quite a bit. So I wonder if it is just one of those things where maybe Savage has put his hand up that he wants to try it, you know? Unless we get a word with the man, we don't really know. Some forward aggression, though, for Vexite here into the hut. Some standard utility from Encore in outers again. Inns is going to be the first point of contact with any information that he can gather for Grayhound. But again, just Vexite taking things into his own hand. He's got a buddy next to him in Liaz. This is some pretty crucial information for Grayhound, just to give them a great sense of what's actually happening in this round.
I like the aggressive approach there.
Oh, the gun barrel. Did Hatch not see it?
Don't think so. Licky, though. He's going to be able to find that aggression coming through from Liaz, but maybe not expecting Vexite here as well. They're still in the middle of nowhere, but the timing almost working out. Ian's not going to be cleared over towards credit side and just draws the attention long enough for Vexite to activate on that flank. So A site fully open, but again, Grayhound have been so solid on these retakes with 2-man advantages. Very
strange round with how Grayhound are letting Encore get in towards the garage because of the flank that they've got, but then it was Hats in the squeaky. He'd kind of allowed, you know, Grayhound to waltz in behind him. Licky already realizing that Leaz was up on top of the silos. So some good positioning from both of these teams in a weird state. But now it goes from bad to worse with Savage losing his life. The impact of the utility onto Hats as well. They know exactly where he is. And it just forces him out of this round.
Well, into the final round of the half. Let's have a look at what's going on here.
Yeah, you got to invest all your money, right? So Encore getting what they can. We've got the kits for Grayhound and all the pieces of utility that they could ask for. Looking for a 13-2. Otherwise, if Encore are able to pull away with this one on the back of Sterling's opening kill onto Inns, then he could make it 12-3, which, you know, on paper is better when you move on to that CT side. Definitely don't want to put a foot wrong if you are Encore here.
Yeah.
They still haven't checked aliStair. Already pushed up. Attention trying to be drawn away from Ali's location. Just that little tidbit of positioning from Grayhound. You know, very experienced in what to do there to afford him a frag.
Only out. Let's see what Grayhound do from the man disadvantage to try to get back into the round. Quick smart, they're going straight down to B, and Liaz, that molly, it's above him, not on him, so he's able just to stand there behind default. He's locked in, and Encore have managed to get their mids back on the bomb. Molly forces them away, and now with 30 seconds on the clock, the world's their oyster pretty much. Hats gonna be able to get that pick. Ali not able to rotate back to A, and there's no one on the top side of the map.
Yeah, talk about standing through the fire and the flames, though, down at B for Liaz, hey? He's still a kicking in this round. 20 seconds. Bomb to be established by Encore, and it's going to be a player deficit in the retake for them. Liaz and Sicko. Looks like they're going for a split approach as well.
Whoa. Sicko.
Wow.
There's the equalizer. On this 2v2, it's awkward, but Versa hit him behind the box. We'll find where Liaz is coming from at Heaven. Sicko, isolated fight, but it's not quite enough. And 3-12 is going to be the scoreline at the half.
Yeah, not bad from Grayhound, all things considered. You know, we got 3 rounds at the end there from Encore that we were kind of hoping for when we see them go into that last round again. You know, I kind of think that Grayhound had the right idea and approaching towards outers, but then they lose a couple of duels that yeah, goes Encore's way, and they're able to get that third. So I think one of the biggest, you know, problematic things for Encore is literally just going to be this scoreline difference. They might not have given themselves just enough padding. If things go, you know, bad for them in the pistol round, they're not going to get a good start on this CT side, which is usually still the stronger side of Nuke, right? So they need the pistol, they need the second round, and they probably need the first buy round of Grayhound too to start to just get back into this series, or this map rather.
Yeah, this one's going to be roughy. Although I've seen Encore come back from these scorelines before, I want to believe in Savage. I want to believe in the comeback, but I just don't think it's going to be happening on Nuke. And then Anubis, I don't know what Encore have for us on Anubis, but I know Grayhound have been able to scrim a lot of teams overseas on that map as well. And I'm just keen to see exactly what they're going to be able to pull out for us here.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you know, one of the things for right now is that, Mac, we are at this halftime. So it does look like we're going to throw it over to a quick break. And when we do return, second half of Nuke.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the IEM Dallas qualifier. We're flipping sides here, and Encore are now on the defense. Let's see what they're going to be able to do on the CT side as Grayhound are picking up the pace straight towards ramps. There's a couple of dualies here. There's a lot of guns waiting for him, but it's going to be an instant one-for-one trade. Ali ready for this aggression in the lobby. Sterling finds 2 before falling, but that's going to be the A side. Looking clear until you got Licky, who's fallen all the way back to CT. Thought he might have been spotted there at Heaven.
Yeah, I thought he might be able to go up on the rafters, but apparently not. He's going to go and offer a split approach from Savage, who is still on at the ramp room at the moment. Needs to get a bit of a wriggle on for himself. Remember, Mac, there's no kit here for Encore.
Let's see. Savage can find a line, spots the vent player, and knows one has to be close. He's heard those footsteps falling. Sicko, of course, Tetris side, and that bomb is going to be planted on the other side of site as well. Liaz, he might have time to go for the full rotation. Can't get past Licky, though. Great cover. And that's going to be exactly what Encore need if they want to get back into the game here.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked a little bit scrappy, though, in the interim parts, didn't it? With trades going left, right, and center, everybody just having a bit of a scrimmage in the lobby. But at the end of the day, if you're planning for the backside as Greyhounds and you're smoking off Annex, you know, you got to be careful that you're not going too far away from the bomb. You're always going to have that idea that you're going to be vulnerable to any potential heaven lurkout, which is where we saw Licky look to peel away and fall back. Savage could have come up from heaven as well. So just these little bits from Greyhound that they've got these rounds of padding as their insurance, right? So it's okay to make a couple of these mistakes to pick on and up. They got the plant. They've gone in for the force. It's a pretty comparable buy compared to what Encore have to go with in this round too. So it's not bad.
Well, let's see what happens from here. Greyhound just hitting the brakes, maybe expecting some kind of aggression into lobby. But Encore, they're not pushing. They don't want to be running into the potential force buy, and they hear those Galils humming straight from lobby as well. So they should be expecting something coming out of Greyhound later in the round.
Yeah, Encore, of course. No kits again come this second round. An incendiary, a flash, and a smoke grenade are those bits of utility that they have to work with. So as Greyhound are concerned, a lot more, right? A lot of avenues of approach that they can look to go with. They could just as well look to bully in towards the A site if they're feeling ripe and ready, and I think that's it.
Ooh, lineups there, Savage. Going to be able to find one before falling. MP9 looking good with the fire rate. Versa not going to be able to get the reload, but he can swap over to the M4 in time and finds that final kill onto Ali as well. And Greyhound's aggression is completely shut down.
Versa, a couple of good frags as well. Brings him, within one from his teammates. It'll build some good self-confidence coming into this CT side. And look, at the end of the day, maybe all Encore needed to do was get to this CT side to really be able to showcase their strength when it does come to Nuke, Maybe we've just had a bit of a bad T side, problematic side, where Greyhound got a bit too much of the weaponry early on, and Encore never went for the double eco territory to get a full kit and caboodle buy. So it's just one of those things where now if they can go on a tear on the early stages of the CT side, they might be able to get some good things happening.
Well, Savage getting those confidence frags on the board. Zico able to get some extra money in the bag. That plant going for the old vent drop. Wasn't heard, wasn't spotted, and wasn't stopped. So, big damage in terms of getting a little bit of armor off of Hats and Savage. But in the grand scheme, 5 alive is going to be huge for that Encore economy.
Yeah, and this is where we're going to start to get, the sense of what Greyhound's T side is going to look like as well. Something that I was just really waiting to see what Encore had to deliver for us. But now that things have switched over, and we did see the force up be squandered come the second round of this half. What does actually the T side prove to us for Greyhound? AWP's out for aliStair. If you look at the statistics, isolated Mac as well, 24 kills is already a pretty good scoreline to end a map on, with the rest of your team, kind of pulling their weight as well. So he's still got more rounds to play with here. At least 4.
He's got the big green online thanks to that plant coming through on the previous. A little bit of round loss bonus worked up as well, of course. So far, so good for Encore as well. Let's see how they navigate this first gun round from Greyhound. Savage can't quite connect with the spam through the L smokes, and Inns is going to be able to slide his way into credit unspotted.
Let's see what he's going to be able to work with. We've got Licky in the garage still. Savage playing at Hell in case there needs some any assistance in those spots of bother. Bit of a stacking, though, from Encore over towards the ramp. 2 players there to get a bit of interest. I love the approach from Greyhound at the moment. Trying to see if they can waste any utility out from Encore. No one's really getting too aggressive, but allow Greyhound to come together. They're going to go for a bit of a ramp challenge here, it does look like. Hat's elevated. Then you did have Versa, who's playing top raft as well. I wonder if he's going to have to go back down and help out, or if it's going to be Savage who's playing Hell. Looks to be the latter. And Inns has been spotted too.
Great coverage from Licky just to make sure there is going to be no late lurker at outside. Liaz burnt to a crisp, forced into the open. And Licky looking like the MVP for the round, but it ain't over just yet. Sterling looking to stop this bust out of the vent side. And is trying to stop him out of decon as well. Just repositions perfectly. Ali, I think that's his first missed shot this whole game.
Yeah, look, potentially so. But at the end of the day, Encore kind of did what was right to get them where they needed to in that round. And they're starting to build up on this CT side. In their history, they've been pretty 50-50 with how this map has actually gone. some good CT side percentage in round wins, but it's actually been their T side, surprisingly enough, that has been the stronger side for Encore when it does come to Nuke. We can't say the same for Grayhound, who have got a heavily reliant CT side. So, gathered by those statistics, even with a 12-3 half, you know, it's potentially a bit scary if Encore, you know, get a couple more rounds here and there without one from Greyhound. And we start to question maybe are Encore just, really reliant upon that CT side.
Ooh, big damage. Big kill. And Sterling happy just to fall back, create that space, and play the range game with the AWP in hand. Hats, he's heard those footsteps coming, but misses that opportunity to pop off the back of the flash from Grayhound. And is just going to be ran at, but Hats has a nice line to find himself a big old multi. P2K in hand, is not going to be able to finish the job. Ins, he's living 1v5 angle with the Tech 9. And Sterling is looking to get out of dodge. Again, just create a little more space, but that's going to be a foot spotted. Ins unaware that he was showing through the smoke there. And that is going to be an 8 on the board. Encore only 4 behind now.
Yeah, they're starting to nip at the bud, which is good to see. The best possible start that they could probably want on their CT half, but now it poses the question, are they going to be able to continue that? We've got another buy to come through from Greyhounds. They've taken it a little bit slower on their T sides, bar previous with those pistols. So I do kind of wonder if we're going to get a bit of a change of pace from Greyhound, if they're going to steer away from majority of the force looking to go for something at outers, if they're going to go for a potential A side bust. Squeaky door open already. Sterling getting hungry for a kill, and he's even pushing even further forward. No punishment from Greyhound. It's a good opener for Encore.
Not bad, not bad. Liaz waiting to punish any aggression into lobby, but Sterling just peeking in hut with the AWP rather. Taking a page out of bloody Ali's book there. That is the kind of aggression you don't expect to see from Sterling.
No, he's one of those structured players that is very happy to hold a line for what feels like over a minute in a round. So to be able to get a little bit proactive, be able to get away with a kill even after your teammate had already found an opener 2 Mac, it's a bit ballsy, but it definitely could pay dividends if they're able to recover from here as well. Because Encore, they still have a player advantage, but it is Greyhound at the end of the day. You still have to be careful with how you're going to navigate the remainder of a round. Sicko slipping in towards Hell, through Hell rather. Looking to set up for the A site now, Greyhound, and Sicko's position. Oh, it's sneaky.
Sicko able to find one. Good trades coming through from Int here. But, there's another. Now it's all down to Hats in the 1v2 to try to clutch. He's a while away, so Greyhound have a moment to reposition here.
Yeah, 5 versus 3. Remember, as I said, you can never underestimate Greyhounds. Hats with the kit and the flash. Molly under him.
Spotted. He's going to try to make his way out now. Flash over towards that box side, but In's too sharp there with the AWP in hand. And that is going to be another round in the bag, and the first for the half for Greyhound.
Yeah, able to do it quite nicely after losing 2 of their players early on as well from Encore. A couple of risks that you would look at, the time on the round that they found them, and you think, all right, this should probably give us the round if we play a little bit more patiently and let things flow their natural way. But Greyhound, they say no. Sicko poking out from heaven, and he's just able to start off the party up on the A site. Some good repositioning from Greyhound as well, realizing the situation that when they are down, they need to kind of take a page out of Encore's book from what they were doing in that round. A couple of risk-taking maneuvers, which they do manage to make work out. Now we're at a pretty problematic phase actually for Encore, because they haven't found double digits just yet, because they haven't got 5 players with full strong economy. This is where things could get away from them if Greyhound get this round, Mac. However, there is an opening kill from Encore yet again. This time I wonder if they're actually going to realize that they've got it and settle down.
Just cutting sound now. Flash towards double doors.
Yeah, it's risky from Licky. Didn't need to go for that information. You know that the crossing outers is already a dirty position, though, from Savage. At least able to get the trade position once known again. And my eyes do start to tend towards what's happening down on the lower side of the map because Sicko's already through vent. And he's starting to clear a bunch of angles for the boys on Grayhound. You've got Sterling, who's playing over at the ramp, would be the probably closest player to get down and throw a rock in the works. 20 seconds for a plant. Vexite is still in the lobby with Liaz.
He has the timing on the push here. Savage going to be able to go for the wraparound and has Versa up with him, I think. No, on top of Hut, I believe. And Savage able to find another, but you already have all the Greyhound members remaining down on this B site. So, man, disadvantage. Let's see if they can clutch up from here. Bit of noise made from Savage over towards double door side. And they know exactly what is coming. Hats a little while away, trying to slowly but surely make his way to Mega. Flash through. Vexite still with 2 on the belt to play with. And that's a big bit of damage onto Sicko. Vexite can't trade 1v3 angles. Sicko doesn't have the stick. He is going to be able to find one. Whiffs the opportunity, though. The jump a little bit too awkward to track. And Savage going to be able to peek out for the trade. So Encore doing work to bring it back to 9.
Yeah, absolutely. One of those situations as well for Sicko at the end of it, where if that frag, he's able to get it quite quickly and tuck himself back in towards Dark, he might be able to just dislodge them when they go for a plant, defuse rather. We can see that there's no real utility for Encore at that point in time too, so it could have actually gotten away from them, but they've navigated it well. They've found their 9th, and now they're starting to build up even more bank on a couple of their players. Savage looking pretty. Sterling and Versa can afford themselves a buy regardless. So we'll have to wait and see if Encore are able to at least win this round and then put a bit of a reset onto Greyhound. Start to really pressure them on this T side. Once more for Greyhound, though. It's a bit quicker in towards the hut this time. It's an opening kill for Vexite. You like to see that. And they're just going to put up the stop sign. They're just going to put it in a little bit of a looming state. Over towards Hats, though, for the next challenge, possibly. Could be quite problematic if Encore do lose him.
Let's see what he can do here. Hats, nada is the answer. And now in the 3v5, Greyhound just looking to do anything. Looking to get that 14th secured without tripping up too much, of course, their economy in a bit of a bad way. And Licky, he's going to show face down on that B site. So you can see now Greyhound starting to posture to try and hit the upper site.
Yeah.
But Sterling might be timing here.
It needed to come down to the Sterling, though, to be honest with you. Now it's all going to be on a Savage and Licky to see what they can do. 2 versus 5. If the plant goes down, there's only a kit. There's nothing for Licky now. Do you just put more prize on the save? I think you might have to. As I mentioned, you guys can go in for another buy. Any damage that you do look to do if it's at the end of the rounds probably doesn't mean that much to Greyhound.
Well, 1M4 in the next. Savage can drop a couple across, and Hats and Sterling should be able to buy themselves. So Encore should be a-okay to get another buy-in, but next round, definitely that swing round. And if Greyhound win that, then, well, game should be over.
Yeah, one would probably expect, but maybe Encore has something sneaky up their sleeve. Maybe they're just able to catch Greyhound off guard. We'll definitely have to wait and see, but the gap does start to get a little bit bigger once again as far as Encore are concerned. See what their buy is actually going to look like, though. Savage to get the boomstick out. You'll be trading that one over. Everybody can get what they can. I want to kind of see a little bit more priority for Encore to get this utility out. They've got a couple of kits, too. Is really all you need if you're tracking them. You know, we've seen Savage play toward the top site, you know, with Licky as well. Maybe a little bit of lurking out in towards outer time and time again, but you definitely want to make track of those kits if you look to go for a bit of a risky duel to try and get that opening kill. Although, they might get one a little bit quicker than expected. Savage, a loose spray, is able to find aliStair. A second on towards Liaz with the molly. Things go from bad to worse for Greyhound, but at least Vexite is trying to equalize. He can't.
No. Unable to. But still an opportunity. That one's gone awry, though, for Sicko. Just that nade onto Licky. Bit of a chunk. Oh, and at range as well. Struggling up against Sterling, who's going for the bloody triple repeat there. Didn't expect it, but it's worked out. In's going to be able to find that one-on-one, and Hats is gone out of trophy. Smoking the way. The bloom is enough for Ins to try and play around here. Sterling on that offline.
Gonna be big.
Aware that he could be there, but has dropped straight into the position he was looking. So Sterling able to bail out the boat this time, but still there's no room for error here for Encore.
Nah, plucks him out of midair. You do like to see that. I got a feeling a classic Ins 1 versus 3 potentially could have happened, but it does not. So Encore, they won't be seeing only OT as their exit plan of their map pick here on Nuke. They've got a couple of rounds to try and catch up. Make it 14-14, make it go the distance. Get that all-important 16. Again, they've got the utility to be able to throw in. It's a lot, though, from Grayhound. Doors open. Molly and a smoke there to HE grenades to get any little trickle damage on towards Encore. And Licky will be taken down to 69 as well. So we wait to set up some util from Grayhound. And you do currently see that it is going to be Licky at the annex waiting to swing out when he hears the util. You got Sterling as well on the heavens with the AWP.
There's that flash. Licky's gone. In's playing anti. He was ready for something. And there you have it. Man advantage now. Grayhound have been pretty damn good at closing out from this position, but we'll see what Encore can do to try and get back into the round.
Yeah, you need to cut a corner if you're Encore here. You got a player down. You don't want to see Grayhound get 15. You've actually used a lot of your utility early within the first, 50 seconds of the round to try and keep Grayhound at bay. And it hasn't really worked. A single flash in outers and Ins just takes your head off, completely blinded. It is quite troublesome as far as Licky is concerned. You've got no more smokes. You've got 3 assistive flashes. This is going to come down to a bit of timing for Encore and to potentially even see if Grayhound can just walk in towards their crosshairs. 30 seconds to go. It is possible.
Molly, burning, Versa. Oh, a missed opportunity. Didn't see the second player. Ragdoll must have been in the way on his screen. And that might just be a 15th, almost secured. Sterling able to answer with 1, though. So there is an opportunity. And with this last bit of util remaining, Hats is going to try to bring it back to the 2v2, but the flash is all for nothing. He couldn't find anything on a close line, and it looks like it is just going to be that save call. So Encore licking their wounds and playing for OT now. Yeah,
that last flash play was the little Hail Mary to try and get back in towards the round, wasn't it? With an AWP on a retake on top site. As long as your real only exit is if you're kind of given a kill, right? Which I almost feel like maybe Encore were with that squeaky door bust out, but the little turnarounds, as you mentioned, the Ragdoll playing a bit of a factor there for Encore not being able to get a couple more kills. Poor old Versa. Anywho, it is that going to be 15 rounds now for Grayhound. 5 map points. Ancient around the corner. Been quite good for Grayhound in recent history, as they would look to take this series 2-0, playing the winner of the Rooster game and Vertex.
What are Encore going to be able to do with this recipe, huh? Looking like they are going for a pretty heavy presence on A, on ramp, and looking for those fast rotations, but it's just a fast approach in from Grayhound. They barely get that boost up in time, but that hasn't been heard. Licky able to try and find something, gets 2, and that might just be good enough to save it for Encore.
Oh, it'll be tight, though. It'll be difficult. Still a player deficit. Versa with an AWP. Savage with an MP9. No utility there as well. It's gone from bad to worse. They are at least tucked together.
And they're on the right line as well, Versa. They probably wouldn't expect him with the AWP, but he's been blinded, spotted, and that might just be the seal on the deal. Collateral angle, can't find it. Almost did, but that is going to be the 16-10 scoreline for map numero 1 of the series there.
Yeah, number 1 done. From a 12-3 halftime scoreline as well. You probably think that would have been enough for Grayhound, and at the end of the day, it was a bit of a silver lining for